Well, hey everyone, it's Brandy. Obviously you're on Abstract Crafters channel because you are watching my unlisted instructional video. I guess it's instructional. No, really though, if you've clicked on it, it means you're curious and you want to know the ins and outs of how I am running my videos from now on. And I've actually started this in some way, shape, or form beforehand, but I've actually have it all like official now because it's taped onto this paper, you see. So I even have a couple of diamond paintings to use as examples. So we'll start with the unboxing, and I created this system to eliminate any biases or like preconceived notions. Say for example, I am unboxing or reviewing, because I have one of each. Unboxing or reviewing a store that I absolutely love. It doesn't matter because everything is going to be going off of this. And even if it happens to be a store that I really don't care for, maybe the unboxing didn't go so well or I've heard bad things, it doesn't matter. Everything is going to be rated on these two sheets. So when it comes to an unboxing, I have a little checklist to make sure that I'm not missing anything, because I tend to do that a lot, specifically when it comes to like the price. So now in every one I'm going to make sure I'm including the store name, whatever I happen to name the diamond painting, the size of the diamond painting I ordered, and then as you'll see somewhere in there's a way to measure it, but I'm skipping ahead. And we're going to go over shipping info. Like date ordered, shipped, and the date I received it. So we can talk about that. And then I'm going to make sure to talk about packaging, the condition it arrived in. Was it protected against the elements properly? And then we'll talk about the canvas itself. I'll make sure to include a photo from the store whenever I can. Most of the time it's available to do so. There's been a few rare occasions where I have not been able to do that. And one of our examples is an example of that. I'm going to make sure to show you the pasting area. We're going to look for the clarity of the symbols, check for the condition of the glue or the tape, depending on what method they used. We'll make sure to look over the charts and the symbols that they used, and we'll make sure to measure the pasting area to see if it matches up with the size that was ordered. As far as the beads go, or diamonds, or resins, or gems, or whatever it is that you call them, I call them beads. It's just easier for me. I've always called them beads. Some people don't like that, but that's okay. Sometimes I don't like what everybody else does too. So we're going to show how they're packed, whether they're weighed or if they're the pre-count bags or whatever the case may be. If it is under 30 colors, like 29 colors and under, I'll do inventory on screen, just a quick one. And what I mean by a quick one is going through and making sure we have all of them. Not necessarily that all the counts are accurate. If it's over 30, we're going to do that off camera. And then I'll come back and verify with you if I had all that. While at the same time, and this will go for both, then I'm going to pause to check for the counts. And make sure that I have, if they say I need 400, I'm going to make sure that if it's pre-weighed, I have over 400 plus 30%. If they're pre-weighed bags, the 200 count bags, I'll make sure I have at least 3 for a 400 count. You should have at least 3 for overage. And so that'll be done on every single unboxing. And that way we're getting all the same information, and then it won't change from painting to painting. And it will have no bearing on whether I like a company ahead of time or not. And then for the 1 to 10 scale, this is how the points are going to break down. So, and I'll explain to you why some have 2 and some have 1 in a minute. So 2 points for the condition of the canvas, 2 points for clarity of symbols, 2 points for a complete bead inventory, 2 points for everything being included, canvas, beads, tools, 1 point for the outside packaging, 1 point for how the contents were packaged. Now, to break that down a little further. So say like the canvas, when we're talking 2 points for the canvas, if everything looks good and there's no pinching of the tape or glue. There's no missing areas like bald spots. And this is all on first impressions. It's, you know, there's more in-depthness to it when it comes to the post review. So this is just all based on first impressions. So they could get a half a point if it's really crappy. So it can go anywhere from a half point all the way up to 2 points. And I didn't write that anywhere. I probably should have. Clarity of symbols, because sometimes you get a canvas that maybe some of them are clear, some of them aren't. Maybe there's a few symbols that are a lot alike and they're the same color. Like, I have an example. Let me grab it. I'm gonna set this down. I'm gonna go grab it. Okay, so this is an example. I had shown this in a drill with me before. So this symbol has 1 line. This symbol has 2 lines. When I did this one, the colors are so similar. I mean, one's teal, one's blue, but they are still similar. And so when I was going through, I accidentally put a bunch of these down, thinking that I didn't notice that there was a difference in the symbols. Even though I had looked at these and obviously labeled them, I didn't realize that there was a difference until I was like, oh, wait a minute now. All of a sudden it jumped out. So that's what I mean by clear, you know, that could go under clarity of symbols, because they're so similar that I could easily have not noticed that mistake and ran out of beads potentially. And then it wouldn't have looked right. And so I could have taken a half a point off for that. Or it just depends on the severity of all of that. And the reason I give 2 points for a complete bead inventory is because maybe it didn't come with all of them. Then I contact the seller, which is all under post review really, so I don't know. But there could be some missing, or there could be extras, so I might change this to 1 point, because either you have a complete inventory or you don't. And so we'll think about that one. If I change it, then I will just make a new video. 2 points for everything being included. And, you know, sometimes I've had it where I'm missing my tools. So, of course, they're going to lose a point for that. But I still have my canvas and beads. I have plenty of tools, but I still paid for a complete canvas, bead, and tool kit. So, obviously, if the canvas is missing, then they're just not going to get any points. Or like Sylvanas, where I was missing most of the beads. I would have given 1 point for the canvas and the tools being there. And then, you know, in the post review, that could have been adjusted. So, then there's just, I gave a point for the outside packaging, because I've seen it where anything could have happened to it, and this does not include what can happen to it in shipping. It's just how well they prepared it for shipping. Whereas, like, Evermoment, for example, every aspect of their outside packaging is made ready for any kind of weather it might encounter. And then there's been some companies where they just slap a label on the box. That's not good enough for me. And so they'll get a point for that. And then presentation, 1 point for how the contents were packaged on the inside. That's important to me. Might not be important to some people, but it is important to me. So based on all these things, and we'll think about this complete bead inventory. Maybe I might need to move one of these points down here. I think that's what we'll do. Instead of 2 points here, this will be 1 point, and then there'll be 3 points, because then if any one of these are missing, a point would be deducted. Even though I think if you're missing your canvas, you really shouldn't get any points. So, you know, that'll all be explained in an unboxing, and you'll see how that breaks down. So now let's look at an example of how that would work. So I unboxed this one. When this one came to me, it was folded, and I'm not going to refold it, but I did have an ironing video showing me how to get the wrinkles out. It was literally folded. It was literally folded like this. Folded, not rolled. And then the beads and the tools were stuffed inside. That would have lost a point for me. That's just not acceptable. And then, so obviously this is already ready to be worked on, but all of the beads were there, and They were packaged nicely. They were pre-counted, and then they were in a strip together. The unboxing is really bad, so I'm not going to link that, but so with this one, it would have lost a point for the condition of the canvas solely based on the fact that it was folded, and I had to do extra work to get it workable. Because had I not ironed it, the beads would have been popping off. I can guarantee that. But it would have got points for everything else. Most of the time, unless there is a problem, it's always going to be a 10 out of 10. But, like I said, this one, the way it was packaged, it would have lost a point for that. Or the condition of the canvas. It would have lost a point for for outside packaging. It would probably lost a half a point because it was not protected. It was just in a plain mailer in bubble wrap, no plastic to protect it. So, probably would have lost a half a point there. And the contents were packed really well. So, ultimately, this would have been an 8.5 out of 10 to start with. And obviously we don't know how the post review would go because it still needs to be worked on. So now let's move on to how I'm going to run a post review. And we'll just set those off to the side. So this is going to have a lot of the same information. I'm going to reiterate the store name and the DP name, the canvas size, how much I paid for it, and then we will go over the canvas. I'll show you again what the original photo looks like. We'll see how it compares to the finished product. And we'll talk about how did the beads adhere to the canvas. Did they stick well? Did they slide around? Were they hard to get on there? Were the symbols easy to read? Did I need to grab a light pad? Could I see it easily? Things like that. And then we'll talk about any problems I discovered with the canvas that was not seen in the unboxing, such as pinching, buckling, or missing areas of the glue or tape. And by buckling, let's say I take this and I put my washi tape around the outside, like I like to do, and I also like to put it around here, which I've actually started using shipping tape because it sticks a little bit better. And then all of a sudden now the canvas is like buckling and it's not staying as flat as this. Then that tells me what they did is they printed the canvas. The canvas is nice and hot. Instead of waiting for it to cool, they laid down that tape. And so it looks fine until you go to start trying to force it flat. You'll notice this a lot with AliExpress places. And I'll have some examples coming up very soon of that. But you'll notice that all of a sudden now your canvas is looking all wonky like that. That's what I call buckling. Or if the glue or tape is pinched upward, it's obviously your beads aren't going to stick. You're going to have little mountains all over. That's what I mean by buckling. And I have had some even with diamond dots where there was areas of the glue that was missing and I had to put my own glue on there. And then we'll go over beads, how much garbage there was, how much there was left over. Now these things aren't super important, but it's nice to know because then you'll get a general idea if you're going to have plenty to work with or not. And if you can be picky or not with garbage, because sometimes you just can't afford to throw away any single bead. And then the general condition of the beads, we'll talk about if they're too small, too big, concave or convex, we'll talk about the experience. What was the overall experience working on the canvas? Did it bring joy or was it stressful? And this one, it's not always going to be applicable. So we'll talk about, did I need to communicate with the store? If not, we'll skip this section. If so, did they respond in a reasonable time frame? Now, that's going to be dependent upon which store it came from. AliExpress, Amazon, Wish, independent stores like Paint with Diamonds, Diamond Art Club, stores like that. I was trying to think of another example. New Frog, places like that. So, did they resolve the issues? And if they had to resend items, how long did that take? Because sometimes that's important. If you end up waiting an additional 2 months on top of the month you already waited, that's not good. So we'll talk about those things. This is how we will score a post review, again on the 1 to 10 scale. So 3 points for the overall look of the finished canvas. This one has the most points because I think it's the most important. You know, all these other things, ultimately they don't really matter. If your canvas looks like crap, then it's the whole review is shot. But, you know, for the sake of being a completionist. So for 2 points for the bead quality. So say I had just tons and tons of garbage and I ran out of beads, they're not going to get they're not going to get the full 2 points. I gave 2 points for the fun factor. So right here where I talk about, where'd it go? Oh, did it bring you joy or was it stressful? That's what I'm talking about there. 2 points for the fun factor. I'm working on a canvas right now that is just, it's so fun moving from area to area and seeing it develop in front of my eyes. And then I've had other canvases where I just couldn't wait to be done with them because they were just so horrible to work with, based on like crappy beads and like problem after problem after problem. So that's what I mean by the fun factor. So, and then 1 point for the canvas condition. If I am running into all these problems here, the pinching, buckling, or missing areas of glue, then obviously we're going to lose that point there. If I had a hard time with the symbols, which you're going to see in this painting, and I couldn't read half of them, then I'm probably going to take away that point. This point will probably always be a given if there is communication. Sometimes I've had sellers send me messages and let me know on AliExpress that my package shipped. That's awesome. If there was no communication or if there was no need for the communication, obviously that's just going to be a free point. And so let's use, since I didn't want to do a dedicated review for this one, we'll use this as an example. So, overall look of the finished canvas, I don't think it turned out very well. I don't really like the image. It's not as beautiful as, let's see. I know it's really hard to see, but I can't find a picture for this one. It's not, to me, it's not as beautiful as I expected it to be. I didn't have a choice in the size. This was a promo picture, and I just, it was one size for everything. It ended up being a 25 by 20. I think something like this needed to be bigger. So for me, I would have probably only gave it maybe 1 point. The bead quality was okay. I had plenty to finish. There was a lot of garbage. And the black ones, which the 310 has always been a problem in the community, but you can see the gapping really bad there. I had a lot of issues with that, so I would have taken off points for that. So as far as points for bead quality, that probably would have been a 1. So right now we're at, what did I say? 1 point for the overall finish. Look at the canvas, I think I said. So that right now we're sitting out of 5 points at a 2. 2 point. So for the fun factor, you know, it was okay working on it. It was small, so I got it done fast, so I probably wouldn't have taken any points off for the fun factor. So now we're back at a 7. The canvas condition, it was, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that it was, this one was folded, and it was wrinkled. I do have, it's probably not going to show up very well. I did have an area right in the middle where it had been folded of it buckling, so I would have taken a point off. So now we're at 7.5 for canvas condition. Symbol clarity was crap. I would give it no points for that. I had to use a light pad, and even with the light pad, some of those symbols, I had to try to figure it out what they were. That's not okay. So they lost that point. Communication, I would have deducted that point solely based on the fact that this company is not around anymore. They gave out a bunch of promo pictures, sent out mediocre kits, and then there's no way for me to contact them had I ran out of beads, had there been any other issue with this. Or even if I wanted to order this in a bigger size, there's nowhere to go for this. So they would have lost that. So right now, they sat at, 1, 2, 4.5. Did I say 1 or 2? So I think 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. 4.5 out of 10. And then I'm going to take this score and this score. We're going to average them, and then it'll be an overall score. So I guess I could have went over what I would have gave this as an unboxing, but let's just say, because I knew the canvas was crappy, I can just look at this quickly. I didn't like the way it was packaged. It could have easily gotten damaged. So 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4.5, leaves it about 5.5 maybe. And that's just guessing off the top of my head. So overall, this would have been a do not buy based on the score alone. And, you know, I might have said some wrong numbers in there, but you get the general idea of what I was trying to say. This is the sheets that I will be using on each one of these. If you have any ideas for things I can add to it, other ways to break down the points, please let me know in the comment of any video that you watch this on. You can probably leave a comment on this video, and I'm not sure how that works with unlisted videos. But if you can't, leave it on whatever video you watched this for, and let me know. I'm always open to suggestions. I created these lists to be more unbiased for you guys, and to give you guys a better and more clear idea and a, you know, a streamlined way of doing things. So this is all for you. Well, it's a little bit for me too, and so I am open to suggestions. If there is somebody else that would, another YouTuber that would like a copy of this, let me know, and I will happily share. I created these on Google Docs. I will happily share the docs with you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for having an interest, and I'll see you guys in the next video that you watch. Bye.